Hello again, and welcome to our next episode on how to sell to NATO. Today, I'll be discussing how to become a successful preferred supplier to NATO. Last week, we spoke about NATO's two main procurement agencies, NCIA and NSPA. In a nutshell, NCIA procures anything related to computer information systems, and NSPA does maintenance, repair, overhaul, and supplies. Both use similar procurement methods: sole sourcing, add to an existing contract, ICB and its extension best value, and finally preferred suppliers list. We'll be focusing on ICBs and the preferred suppliers list as they are by far the most common. Next week we'll talk about ICBs. Today, let's talk about the preferred suppliers list. NCIA's preferred suppliers list is known as the BOA, or the Basic Ordering Agreement, and there are several hundred companies that are registered. NSPA's preferred suppliers list is known as the source file, and there are several thousands of companies registered. One-time registration is required, and only the 28 member countries of NATO are allowed to apply. Typically, these preferred suppliers lists are used for commercial off-the-shelf contracts, or COTS. They're smaller, more straightforward, but they can still go up to $5 million. What you first need to do is add your company to the BOA and or source file. They're not mutually exclusive. And when a procurement comes up, NCIA or NSPA will email you requesting a quote. You will then respond, and they will select the most competitive bid. The first step is to register as a supplier. Contact NCIA or NSPA using these email addresses, and they will give you a comprehensive dossier which you will need to fill out. Be very detailed. You'll be signing a fairly standard agreement with the procurement agencies, including pricing as well as a pricing methodology. You can tweak the contract, but it is likely to make it more difficult to be successful on a bid. Also note that it includes a most favored customer clause. In other words, be prepared to match your most competitive offers made elsewhere. Finally, let's go over a few tips on how to be successful. First off, make sure that your point of contact is up to date. Many business development managers move on after a while, and the invitation to bid falls on an empty box. This is by far the most common thing to occur. Second, be exhaustive in listing what your company supplies to avoid missing out on opportunities. And finally, be proactive. Check out both our website, which is fedbizops.gov, and NCIA and NSPA's websites for opportunities that you may be able to bid on but haven't registered for. Next week we'll talk about ICBs, but the best way to start selling to NATO is by starting small with either the basic ordering agreement and or the source file, and then you can grow into ICBs. I hope that this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next week.